voted for Trump and I believed it, and now I snapped out of it.
Hello guys, and welcome back. How are you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive right into it. But before we go, please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you to all my return subscribers. The MAGAs are furious. They are furious because this administration promised, but they are feeling that this administration has not delivered, right? And now they are telling the world that they are snapping out of it, that they are not more in support because they cannot afford a lot of things. This administration promised a lot of things and none has been delivered. While some are coming out and say, yes, it has been delivered, they just got to be patient. You know what I mean? I am going to be rolling your clips for y'all to see how people are reacting to this administration, how they are reacting to the economy, because they are saying some part says we are in a recession, and some part say no, we are not in recession. Yeah, that's what they are saying. So now people are just taking it to social media like, okay, we got to face it. People are struggling, and the MAGA said they had enough. Credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity. Let's roll the tapes, then we had more commentary.
Breaking news, as of now, 22 states are in an official recession. This means that for a vast portion of Americans, we are facing economic hardship. So don't let economists and Fox News reporters tell you we're fine, we're not in a recession, because we are and we have the data to prove it. Recession is often characterized by lack of job opportunities as well as persistent economic hardship lasting more than a few months. Current estimates suggest that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and many people are struggling to put food on the table each day. States currently in or on the brink of recession include Oregon, Georgia, and Illinois, where I currently live. There has been a significant decline in economic activity in these states that has lasted for more than a few months. The craziest thing is that the District of Columbia, or DC, the capital of the country, is one of the territories that's hit the hardest right now. But why? Largely because of Trump's economic plan and the tariffs. So many politicians are lying to us right now by saying that our economy is the greatest in the world, especially those on the right. And I want you to know right now that no, you're not crazy. Yes, the economy is worse. Yes, it is harder to get a job. And yes, it is because of the person who is in office right now, as well as various other factors. Crazy, and we're only 1 year into his presidency.
At this point, it depends on where you are getting your news from. Some news networks are telling us that we are not in recession, while some news networks are telling us that we are in recession. That's what I said, that there is confusion in the land. But no matter what they want to say, people knows what they are feeling. If somebody lose their job right there, they are in recession. That person and the family, they are in recession. So it depends on where you're getting your news from. But I just think when we are talking about economy, the news just got to be equal. Whether you're getting from news, you're getting your news rather from the left, or you're getting it from the right, it just got to be accurate, because we are talking about the economy. We are talking about people's life right here. But right now, she is saying, according to what she's quoting, that the recession is on. What if you tune in to another news network, they are telling you everything is perfectly fine. Boy, the people knows what they have feeling.
The United States, the double A1, specifically citing government debt and interest rate payments, also saying that it expects that the federal debt burden will rise to 134% of GDP by 2035. Interesting, too, that this comes on a day where the House Republicans are trying to push through a big tax cut bill.
Well, a tax cut bill, Romaine, that could add trillions of dollars to the deficit over the next decade. And as conservatives argue that this bill does not do enough to cut spending to offset some of those effects. And there is a call out from Moody's here about the current policy proposals working their way through Washington. They say in the statement, we do not believe that material multi-year reductions in mandatory spending and deficits will result from the current fiscal proposals under consideration. So despite Republican efforts to find savings in areas like Medicaid, with the extension of the 2017 tax cuts, all of the other tax policy that they're trying to pursue, that all could be deficit additive to the tune of $4+ trillion. And that is really what Moody's is taking consideration here. This could actually add fuel, Romaine, to the argument some of these fiscal hawks in Congress are making that this bill should not pass as is because of the impact on the debt and deficit, keeping in mind that Moody's was the last one standing when it comes to having the highest rating on the U.S.
We'll talk about that last point you made. So we had a House committee vote today where this reconciliation bill failed. 5 Republicans broke ranks, joined with the Democrats, and those 5 Republicans specifically were calling out these long-term debt issues as one of the reasons why they would not vote for it. I assume they have to be pretty happy right now because they've got a big piece of ammunition heading into this next vote, which I think might be on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Budget Committee is going to try again at 10 p.m. Sunday, and this does add fuel to their argument and perhaps make more complicated the Speaker of the House's negotiations with these members that he intends to conduct throughout the weekend. It really is just 4 holdouts remain. The 5th no vote was for procedural reasons so that this can be brought back up. But for the likes of Congressman Chip Roy or Ralph Norman, who have been talking about this, they say that this bill is punting the actual pain of reducing the deficit and cutting spending until too late, as Medicaid cuts, for example, for those who need work requirements in this legislation don't kick in until 2029. They say it needs to happen much earlier than that with the fiscal health of the United States in mind.
MAGA is officially done and America First is rising. Because look at what we're getting.
We get 50-year mortgages while Israel gets $50 billion. The average American homeowner is 60 years old. Meanwhile, in Israel, people are buying homes at 36. So let me get this straight. Young Americans can't afford families, but we're literally funding Israeli families for 18 years. On top of that, their kids get a trust fund. That's our taxpayer dollars. And now Trump wants to pardon Netanyahu. I mean, I'm sorry, how much denial can these Trump voters live in? Oh, but America's greater than ever. Where? We don't need more people becoming citizens. We need to hire and train Americans. He's playing 5D chess. More people are being naturalized. And you think that's good until your own kids get replaced legally? No, Epstein files a 15-year car loan and is not real first. MAGA became exactly who they oppose, cheering for censorship. So tell me, is America great yet? Because if you're not awake and you're still arguing left versus right, you have no idea what's going on in this country.
You and I know that is one thing the MAGAs do not want. They do not want any funding sent abroad. American first, American only. That is what the MAGA want. But presently, this administration has been doing the opposite. And the MAGAs are coming out like, this is not what they were promised. And that's why they are saying, no, American first just got to be American first. But I am going to say credit to these creators, you know what I mean? Because she referenced something which is about the mortgage. The mortgage, how these Gen Zs, how are they going to buy their first home? You know what I mean? You and I know the price that these houses are going for. The prices is just going up. It's ridiculous. Even sometimes when they say the prices dropped, when the prices drop, the interest rate goes up. Have you guys noticed that? When the prices dropped, the interest rate never dropped. So how are these Gen Zs, how are they going to afford their first home? How will they be able to invest? So what she is saying, like 35 years mortgage, imagine if you haven't gotten your home yet and you're over 35 already, that means you're going to be in 70s, 75, 80, something like that, before you finish paying your mortgage off. So this is what the MAGA want this administration to actually focus on. But right now that everything is just like being thrown in, the MAGAs are just saying they quit.
A third of the U.S. economy is already in recession or at high risk of falling into one, and another third is just barely moving. Now, this is according to Moody's. So what does that actually mean? Different parts of the economy don't move at the same speed. Manufacturing and housing could be getting hit the hardest by high interest rates, while sectors like tech and services are still holding up. That split is why some people feel like we're in a recession already, while others think things are fine. For regular folks, it means pain depends on where you live and what industry you work in. If you're tied to housing, construction, or goods, you might already feel the slowdown. If you're in tech or services, you may not feel it yet, but that doesn't mean it won't spread.
Well, America, the idiot in charge has spent the tariff money. He has spent $3 trillion. Where was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be in the bank. It was supposed to pay off our debt or give us a check as a tax return. I don't know. But he admitted himself in writing that he has spent the money. If he's forced to pay this money back, it will plunge the United States into the greatest recession or depression we've ever seen. You voted for him. Most of you voted for him 3 times. He spent the tariff money. On what? God knows who. He spent the tariff money and now can't pay it back. I don't know. How could we have known that? 5 bankruptcies? 2 failed casinos? Who can fail at a casino?
A lot of people are not forgetting that part. That when President Donald Trump was a businessman, he bankrupted a casino way. So that will always come up every opportunity that people get. They are going to talk about it like who bankrupt a casino because they believe a casino is a gamble. It's a gamble business. That when people go in to gamble, for sure they don't win all the time. So when they don't win, you got their money. So how is it possible for you to say you bankrupt a casino? But let's just stay on topic right here. We are talking about the economy. We believe it's because people are feeling it. That's why they like adding 1 or 2 things together just to like come online and just say like, okay, how do we get here? That's what people are just saying. It has a lot to do about this administration because they promised that day one they are going to fix it. Y'all remember that time that day one everything is gonna be perfectly fine, everything is gonna be fixed on day one, and a lot of people are saying like we are a year away and people are still struggling. And you know what, people got no patience. People got no patience, especially when you promise them it's gonna be fixed within 1 year, within 6 months, within they are looking up to that day. When that day passed and it's not fixed, they are gonna speak up.
We are in a recession in 22 states, according to Moody's top economists. We have about 13 other states that are teetering on a recession. Check out this map. These are the states in a recession. Washington, D.C. right now has the highest unemployment at 6%. California is at 6%. Nevada is 5.3%. 22 out of 50 states are currently in a recession, according to Moody's top economists. Hi, my name is Christina. I have a master's degree in business and MBA. I also have a bachelor's degree in accounting. Please get your finances in order. What does that mean? Pick up a budget template link in my bio. Instant download, less than a cup of coffee, and literally, I use my budget template, so does my son, and so does my daughter. Managing your money and where it goes ahead of time is going to be critical in surviving right now. Also, please call your representative.
That is one way that you can save. You just got to plan it. You have to have a plan. You have to look at where you are spending your money and where it's not necessary at this point. You know what I mean? A little dollar here or there, you are going to be surprised what you are going to get at the end of the month, at the end of like 6 months or 3 months or even 12 months. I cannot appreciate that. You know what I mean? That's what I said right here. Even though we are listening to the gist, we are learning along the way. Yeah. That is a way for you and I to save. And I hope we can put that into practice. It's not easy. It is not easy because we are so used to things that we are doing every day. So it is not easy for us to like just cut it all out, but we should try bit by bit.
Over half of America's industries are cutting jobs right now, and almost no one is talking about it. In a recent report by a Moody's analyst, it said that 53% of American industries are actually cutting jobs through layoffs. Now, a lot of this has to do with things like tariffs, but what I really think this has to do with is the changing of the guard, right? We have AI, which almost no one can really plan for, but we're starting to see the seeds of what it's to come, right? You see in media like they will take your job, they won't take your job. But the fact of the matter is these companies are planning to take your job through AI. Entry-level jobs where you would get paid even $200,000, very important roles out of college, are going to get cut. Investment bankers using Excel sheets all day, you're never going to need those. And there's robotics coming. There's all these transformations in the economy that I think that corporations are starting to prepare for. So rather than it being something like an economic recession indicator, I think that this is actually positioning for the next decade, the next 20 years. Companies are starting to realize that they don't need to hire as many people to get the things done to reach the same level of revenue that they need to. So they're going to cut costs. That's just the way a capitalist society works, unfortunately. There's a lot of interesting developments coming out of this.
Well, it is official. It is official. We have two industries that Moody's top economist from Moody's says the industries that are in recession currently, take a guess. I don't know that you'll be surprised. Number one is construction. Number two is manufacturing. Construction and manufacturing are currently already in a recession. According to the top economist at Moody's, a recession is likely coming due to number one, tariffs, and number two, economic uncertainty. Hi, my name's Christina. I do have a master's in business, an MBA, and this post right here was how we are going into a recession 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no stopping this freight train. This freight train of a recession is getting bigger and faster every day. I will remind you that in 1910, when we imposed tariffs on importers who passed it on to U.S. consumers, we went through the Great Depression for 10 years. This is going to be catastrophic. I want to remind you this was all self-imposed by one person.
Moody's has declared almost half of the states in our country are in a recession, officially, by definition. And of those half of them are red states who voted for Donald Trump. Many of the blue states are the ones that surround Washington, D.C., and had a lot of federal workers that were let go. And Moody's says that the recession is due to the tariffs, stricter immigration policies that, number one, are creating labor shortages, but also, number two, it's a loss of tax base, because whether Trump supporters want to believe it or not, even undocumented workers pay taxes. Just can't get through their heads. So that loss of tax base is helping to drive the recession. The federal jobs cuts, which are causing high unemployment rates in these 23 states, no new job growth, or very slow hiring. Okay? They get into a lot more, but it's all because of this administration's economic policies. So here we are. But at least we got that ballroom, and at least Donald Trump is throwing these extravagant parties on your dime and my dime. Well, Moody's is ready to declare that the United States of America is in a recession. Moody's. They're waiting a few more minutes for some additional data to come in before they make that declaration. Now, by definition, we are technically in a recession when one of 5 or 6 different indicators have been hit. Facts have been hit. And the one indicator that has been met for a recession is the decline in payroll, specifically because jobs have been cut. So what Moody's does, they've been doing this forever. They send out 400 surveys to 400 different industries. Now, if there's any single month that over 50% or more send back their survey saying they've had a decrease in payroll because they've had to cut jobs, we're technically in a recession. We've started a recession, and then there'll be more indicators that happen after that. Well, for July, the surveys came back, and 53% of these 400 industries have had a decrease in payroll because they've had to cut jobs. Okay? Now, their only hesitation to declaring that we are now in the start of a recession is the jobs figures. The number of job openings don't correlate with the recession indicator, because the number of job openings right now have been artificially inflated because we have deported a bunch of foreign workers. So there's an abundance of shitty jobs at shitty wages with no benefits. But because that number just kind of doesn't correlate yet, they haven't declared the recession yet. But essentially, they're saying we have started a recession. So more to come. Pay attention.
For my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession's going to come, but yet our frickin' administration hasn't even made the move to actually say that a recession's coming. And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies, they can't afford having the kids in general if they already have them. We are not in a good spot, y'all. I know that I'm just a number in a company, but I thought I was okay. You're going to think that you're okay because you've worked there for so long, or you have the right experience. Like, you guys, I have an undergraduate in marketing, a master's in business, 6 years of paid social media experience, both on a strategist and manager level. I have done people management for at least 3 years. I'm a senior level in my career. And yet, when I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions. I was doing entry-level work as a senior-level strategist, all while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But the thing is that it was not something that I saw coming, because the day before that they laid me off, I was literally talking coverage plans with another employee who was going on leave for months. How am I supposed to sit there and not think that I'm safe in that moment? I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in a world like this where my manager wasn't even the one that fired me, by the way, or laid me off. It was frickin' HR, and they read off a script, but my whole team got laid off. And this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now. My partner is a first responder, so I'm very lucky for the fact that I can be leaning on him for support right now, because luckily his job is secure, thanks to the fact that number one, his job is essential, and number two, he has a union behind him. What I will never understand is why corporate agencies have not unionized. We're not allowed, right? We're not allowed. That's part of it. We'll get fired because at least in this corporate world, they're always going to side on the side of business because that's what's making the government money. This world right now is not supporting people. It is supporting business. You are just a number, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for shit like this. I wish I would have. I wish I'd been applying to other jobs months ago. I just was so dumb to not realize the signs. I want to talk about it. I think people need to talk about it. I think we need to make this more public. We all saw the jobs report. It was awful. Getting laid off on the day that the jobs report goes out, and it's 22,000 instead of 75,000 new jobs. You know how discouraging that is? If you know of anything in the marketing space, let me know. Use my comments as a way in which to maybe trauma dump. I don't care, vent. I'm here for you guys. I can't believe this. And I'm really sorry if you're going through this too. Here for you.
Are 22 states headed into a recession? You know I took notes. Let's talk about it. My home state of Louisiana, the economy is expanding, allegedly. But 22 other states are already in or right on the edge of a recession, and that's according to new data from Moody's Analytics, and it paints a really uneven picture across the country. Chief economist Mark Zandi analyzed state-level jobs data, personal income, housing starts, and industrial output to estimate the strength of each state's economy as of September 1st, 2025. His index mimics how the National Bureau of Economic Research decides if the nation's in a recession. The results? 16 states, including Louisiana, Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania, are all still expanding. 13, like California and New York, are treading water. But 2 states, from Illinois to Minnesota, are either in recession or right at the brink. Zandi says the biggest reasons are slowing immigration, rising tariffs, and federal job cuts. States that rely heavily on agriculture and manufacturing are feeling the pressure first. The immigration crackdown is suppressing growth, and states most exposed to federal job losses, like Virginia and Maryland, are struggling too. Washington, D.C., has the highest unemployment rate in the country right now at 6%. Zandi also warned that if big economies like New York or California turn downward, quote, the nation's going into recession. He added, my takeaway is not that the economy is in recession, but that it's pretty darn close. So, while Louisiana is holding strong, so they say, the rest of the country's stability might depend on what happens next in those larger states. So what do you guys think? Are we in it or are we heading towards it?
That is the question everybody keep asking. Are we in it or we are heading towards it? Are we in recession or we are heading towards it? Because it depends on where you are listening, where you are getting your news from, One news channel gonna tell you that we are in it. Why another gonna tell you now we are not in it? But what do y'all think? Go down there and add your comment. Join the conversation. We can learn from you. Credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity to add our comment. But what do y'all think? I am gonna say it depends on what you are feeling. If you cannot put food on your table, you have no job at this present time, then that might be a recession to you. That might be a recession to that person. So it doesn't really matter what we are listening in the news, what they are telling us. What matters is what you are feeling. What matters is how you are feeling it. Let's hear from you down there in the comment section. Do you think that we are in it, or do you think that we are heading towards it? Thank you to all my return subscribers. I'm going to see you in the next one. And if you're new here, do not forget to subscribe. Because right here, you are going to get your diligence. Bye for now.